flour and water together. And of course there's salt. What else is inside? Yeast. So now we have the water temperature 78 because I will not generate any friction. The room temperature is probably 71. So at the end of the mixing process, my temperature should be within the range of 73 and 78. Okay? So once this comes together, guys, just take it out. Okay? We're going to take a scraper. Okay, so now we have, there's no gluten development. Now what we're going to do is we mimic a little bit what the spiral mixer was doing, okay? So we're going to use our hands and kind of work like a spiral and mixing this dough. Okay. So right now not much will come together. See, I'm going to work my thumbs. And all we're going to do is now be agitating this mixture. And when you agitate it and mix it together, little by little, flour and water will come together. And the response from the protein is that it will absorb the moisture from the water and will bond together. See how this dough is coming together? And even though the dough sticks now, what you want to do intuitively, maybe grab like a bowl of flour and you want to add some flour to it because it sticks to the table, But unless your tuition is paid by General Mills and they told you go and waste as much flour as possible, you just agitate the dough because water is the cheapest of your ingredients. Okay, and your customers will thank you for that because the more water you have inside, the longer you can prolong the freshness of the bread and you can avoid the bread from becoming stale. That make sense, guys? So at this point, the bread is coming nice together. Get this off a little bit. So because if you leave the dough on it, it will take 10 minutes until it's all mixed together. But what you can do is you can kind of accelerate that because right now all the dough that's on your hands will work a little bit like Velcro. So get this a little bit away. Get all the ingredients incorporated. And definitely don't add any more flour, okay? Because then the ratio goes off too. So, see what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch, put it back. Stretch, put it back. Now we're going to develop the gluten structure. That's basically second speed. So if you mix a bread dough in your house, that's really a good way of doing it. You don't need to have a machine. Your kitchen table has never been as clean as it was after mixing the dough. But it's clean to begin with.
Okay.
Okay. So now, I'm going to let the dough sit for half an hour. I'm going to round it up. And what you will find out later on is I have a very decent gluten structure, but by letting flour and water sit for half an hour, flour will absorb the moisture. So the dough will mix without mixing. Because part of the mixing is to combine flour and water. But if you let it sit over here, it will do the same thing. I have it nice combined over here. I'm going to round it up, give it a nice little smooth exterior, see? And this dough doesn't stick to the table, doesn't stick to the hands anymore. Look how beautiful. So now I'm overdoing a little bit, it starts ripping, so I have to back off a little bit. I'm going to put it right here. What I want to show you is at this point, guys, check this one out. I'm going to take a little bit off, and I will show you the gluten structure. And the gluten structure at this point is probably 75%. In half an hour, I'm going to make the first stretch and fold. I'm going to make the same. I'm going to make the same window pane test, and you will swear that it's a completely different dough because it just sits there, and we're giving flour and water opportunity to bond together, and you have a much better gluten structure. So we can mix, but over here I leave the dough alone. I don't over-oxidize it, and it's not that much energy, you know. I'm just going to take this dough. I don't even put flour on the table, okay? I'm just putting it right here. I took a little bit, I'm going to show you the gluten structure. And the gluten structure at this point is probably 75% give out. The rest will take place by itself. See how it rips already here? Mm-hmm. We're good, 75%. Now I'm going to show it to you in half an hour. And this dough looks completely different. You're going to say, wow, I can't believe it. Just by letting it sit. And how easy is it to mix a dough in a house? No? So, what I'm going to do now is, guys, I'm just going to clean my hands, and then I'm going to write the rubric down. So it was